Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the show. I am Mark Bader. This is The Bader Show, and we're up to episode 436. Today's February 18th, 2025, and we got a great guest for today's show. He was 2018 NCAA champion. He was a 2022 World Team member, and, man, one of the most dang interesting and entertaining wrestlers to watch. His name's Seth Gross, and he's joining us right now. Seth, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Besides it being negative 32 degrees out today here in Bismarck, things are going well. It's a little chilly for me, but getting through it.
Negative 32? What do you do on a day like that? Stay inside.
Avoid the outdoors at all costs, I guess.
What, I mean, what is it like? You got to go outside at some point and get groceries, or you can't stay inside forever. What do you do?
Oh, I know. It's cold. It's cold. I still get my workouts in, go over to Mat Pack and stuff. But yeah, it's actually, it was worse probably 2 weeks ago. It was probably negative 10, 15, but it was crazy windy, and that was miserable. But it's actually, it's cold. It's cold, but there's no wind, so it's not too bad.
Wow, that's
So
relative.
getting through it. It actually, in less than a week, it's supposed to be 40, 50 degrees here, so it'll warm up quick, but crazy, that kind of swing.
Well, good luck, man. That's terrible. That's absolutely terrible. I just want to come in to start with kind of an update. We know you're at Wisconsin. You've moved on. You're in Bismarck. You mentioned the Mat Pack. Kind of give us an update on how you got there and what's happening right now.
Yeah, so yeah, me and my wife moved down, and it's been 3, 4 months now or not down, but over to Bismarck, North Dakota from Wisconsin. And yeah, it was just kind of came up a little randomly out of nowhere, but I had gotten a call from Mat Pack a couple times, and just kind of started a conversation with them. Troy and Terry Steiner, or Troy, I think, recommended us for a gig out here, just coached in their club, and kind of said they have a really cool setup and whatnot, and you're like, why not go check it out? And it's pretty close to Rana's family, only a few hours from them. And yes, we're like, all right, we'll see what's going on out in North Dakota. And we came out here, and it's crazy. They got a world-class facility. They got huge mat, saunas, hyperbaric chamber, like anything, big old weight room, everything you could ever think of. And almost 200 plus kids in their club, and they were just looking to kind of just invest in some coaches, get some coaches out here to try take the thing to the next level. And yeah, me and Rana both saw a ton of potential in where Mat Pack could go, and think it could be a national powerhouse on the club level. And so yeah, we decided to make the leap of faith and come on out here and dive right into the club game and see where we could take it. So it's already been super exciting. It's cool for Rana. They got 50 plus girls on the team, and yeah, it's been awesome. It's cool. We've already seen a lot of progress in the young kids, and we're just excited to keep building this thing out here.
Wow, 200 kids. That's crazy. Is this you know, through 8th grade? Is this through 12th grade? Is it, what's the makeup of the kids there?
Yeah, it's K through high school. Right now the high school season finishes up this next weekend. We'll get our high schoolers back in. But yeah, for the last couple months, it's just been through middle school. But yeah, we'll get these high school kids back in here pretty soon and be rocking with them. But yeah, our biggest group right now is our little 3rd grade and under. We got probably 150 plus kids in that age, and so that gets to be a little madhouse in there. But it's fun, it's exciting, and all their kids have their own little personalities, and they like to test your patience. So you got to have some patience for that level of the coaching, but it's enjoyable.
Yeah, going from coaching college kids at a D1 level to coaching 150 3rd grade and unders. What's the man? I don't know what's the biggest difference, or what are some noticeable differences, and how coaching moves is coaching moves, but not necessarily, right? There's a big difference here, and maybe explain some of the differences and anything that may have surprised you.
Yeah, I think first biggest surprising thing is It's easier to teach new kids of the sport how to do things the right way than it is to take a college kid and correct something that they've done for decades. And so I think it's really cool at this level because it's like I'm responsible for building this foundation, and that's what's going to hopefully propel them to where they need to go. And so it's cool to be on that end. College was, with the really good guys, they did pick things up easy. It was those tiny details and the high level techniques. But for the most part, college can be a lot about correcting mistakes that you've had for years and try to fix positional things and hopefully get them mentally in a place where they can go out and win in big time moments where at the youth, the middle school, it's like these kids not they haven't been doing it for that long. So you can still correct those mistakes. You can build a strong foundation and then build off of it. And so I think that's the thing that has been cool to me is like these kids can pick things up quick, right? And they're
Sure.
they're willing to, right? It's not something they've done for 6, 7, 8 years. They've only done it for a couple. So it's like, all right, if we have this mistake and we work on it for a few weeks, like they're pretty good at just fix. So that's what's fun to me is it's a lot more of actually building that foundation instead of trying to take something that's built and tweak it here and there.
Your style is not necessarily, maybe wouldn't be considered traditional, right? And some people could look at your style and be like, he doesn't do that right, or he does it wrong. But damn, if it works, it works. So if it works, it's right. Do you teach kids your style, or I wouldn't say you're not fundamentally sound, but you're unorthodox to a degree, right? Do you teach your style, or do you teach like the basic fundamentals? And if where's the blend, right? How do you know who to teach? Maybe some of the crazier things you do.
Yeah, and I think there's definitely a blend, and to me, I want to put in as much as front of these kids as you can, right? You got to learn the fundamentals. You got to have a solid core of things you do when it comes to being in your stance, where your head position can be, your hand fighting, when you shoot a shot, where your positioning can be, but when it comes to kind of scrambling around and defending different things, like show them a little bit of everything. Like I'll show a lot of what I do, and there's probably 5, 6 kids that do a great job of picking up kind of my style, and they tend to be a little more lengthier, scrambly type
Hmm.
guys. And but then right, I have no problem showing the other stuff. But I do think it's important. We got to know that foundation before we start trying to branch off and do maybe the funky different things that I like to do. But yeah, it's a good mix. It's a good mix of both. Like I said, I'm smart enough to know like not everybody can do the things that I could do, right? And that's, some people are better off sticking to a certain style of wrestling. And that's the fun thing about wrestling is there's 100 different ways that you can go about winning in this sport. And, my way works for me for the most part. I still got to get better and adjust and do things different. But each kid, it's like maybe one thing that I do, they're going to pick up, but then I need to show different things that maybe aren't up my alley that they're going to do a lot better that I could even do. Like there's kids that in the room in the youth level that do things that I'm like, man, I can't even do that. And so it's fun and it's just being willing to right dive into each individual wrestler and figure out, what works best for them.
Yeah. And what was your development like? Like coming up, one, how did you develop your style, which is a little outside the traditional box? And did you ever have coaches being like, that's not going to work. Stop doing that, Seth, and then like, it's not going to work against good guys, but it does. And
So,
yeah, let's go through that.
yeah, more than you know. That was the story of my life in wrestling. It was at every single level. Right, you can't let guys in your legs so easy. And I honestly did. I did put a pretty good effort in to try to get better at sprawling, trying to get better at moving my feet. But for whatever reason, when I was a kid, I just had some slow feet, some heavy feet, and no matter how hard, like my dad would have me stay after practice and consistently do 100 sprawls and 100 down blocks and every single day. And then as soon as I get into a match, like guy would shoot and I wouldn't move. And so I had to figure it out. It was like either you get your butt kicked or you figure out how to wrestle from that position. And so I ended up I had a good youth coach though that he was willing to spend a lot of time after practice with me and just kind of scramble around and roll through positions. And he didn't necessarily say like, "Hey, let guys get to your legs," but if you're gonna end up letting guys to your legs, you should probably at least learn to wrestle there. And so he spent time helping me just get good when guys are there, and how to scramble and positioning and things like that, and when they got to the legs. And so, but it was at every level, youth level, high school. My coaches were like, "You got to get your legs back." I went to the University of Iowa for that year, and Tom was set on it. Like same thing after practice, he would have this big mat that we'd pull out. It was like those thick ones that you usually do the Greco throws on, and I remember he'd make me do on that and just move around and be sprawling and down blocking on that after practices. And so every set of the way, that's been the emphasis, is stop letting guys in on your legs so easy. And I do think I've improved at it for sure from where I was at when I was younger, but it's definitely still something I can always get better at. But yeah, it's at some point it was, though, figure out how to win where you're good. Right, there is an aspect of, yeah, I want to make my weaknesses a little bit better, but to me, I think making your strengths a whole lot better is what's going to get you to the highest level, right? Having things that nobody can stop or nobody can score on when they get to this. And so, it's been fun. It's been fun, and I was always just a stubborn kid too. So it was like, once I got to high school and stuff, I was kind of more like, I'm going to show you guys that I can do it my way. And so it was an up and down battle for most of my life, but it was fun. And yeah.
Yeah. Well, and now speaking of development and getting better, like, what's your training situation like today? Who you training with? Does somebody train you? Are you traveling to other places to train? What's training like?
Yeah, it's a little bit of everything right now, and so that's probably the hardest part, right? Is that maybe I don't have consistently the best guys in the world to practice with every day, but I got a good core group of guys. That there's a local college in town, that's pretty solid. And then there's some guys that wrestled Division 1 and wrestled Division 2 that are around coaching in the area now. And so I have a good core group of guys that I can get in consistently, as far as like drilling and getting some good hard technical feels and things like that. But outside of that, like, we bring in, like, I brought Real Woods out for a week. I went out to Michigan for a week. Troy Steiner is here the last couple days. Um, I've gone out to South Dakota State. It's not far away. Minnesota. So it's been a little bit of a mixed batch of each, of bringing some high level guys in here to get those good hard feels, and travel in some places too when I need to. It's almost been kind of like the MMA fight camp style, is like, I got my core stuff here. I stay in good shape. I got, amazing weight room facility, all the saunas. So like, my actual physical shape, like, it's super easy to stay on top of that. And as I really get close to these matches, right, I dial it up and make sure I go get the feels I need to. And I'd say, yeah, 3-4 weeks leading into matches where I'm going and making sure I'm getting top level guys pretty consistently. And so it's been fun. It's been pretty fun to do that way and get to travel, and just get my hands on some different guys. And yeah, it's exciting. It's definitely not what I'm used to doing, right? Usually I'm just staying in my home base, and that's where I'm traveling, preparing, and have everything there. But it's cool, to get out, and, right, everybody has their own different ways of training, and just seeing how different clubs and places train has been cool too.
Nice. Want to talk about, like, the differences specifically between college and international. I saw your post the other day about, hey, elite wrestlers are good on top, and that probably
Yo.
that can go in and folk style and freestyle. But as far as college versus senior level, what are the biggest differences, and what separates the senior level from the college guys? What makes, how do you excel at the next level?
I think, internationally, speaking of top guys in the US, and you talking, right, just Japan's been really good on top right now. I think the thing you see is a level of patience, in a lot of these guys, and they're very, very, smart about when they're attacking. They're never, right? It's harder to create counter offense, and that's been, obviously, was my game in college. Is like, it was just easy to create scrambles and start these positions, and I knew they always favored me, and so I was okay having these 20-point matches because I knew as soon as scrambles and I got my chance on top that I was gonna start racking up the points, and now internationally, that's been the hardest part is, like, I know that it's the very, very best guys, like, we're not gonna have a 20-point crazy match all the time. Like, yeah, every once in a while, maybe, but for the most part, these guys are very, very patient, and the opportunities come a whole lot less. And so you got to be patient as well, and you got to pick your spots wisely. And when you get your chance, you better friggin' take that opportunity because you don't know if you're going to get one again. And that goes into like I said about top wrestling is like that's a huge thing on like you look at the best guys on the international scene, they're almost always turning guys, right? They're almost always like Ono, is a recent example. Like when this dude gets on top, he's gut wrenching you. Like that was, I don't know if anybody stopped his gut wrench. And so when you have such a good move on top, you got Spencer Lee. It's like these guys when they get their opportunity, like it's a lot easier to take down in four guts or four turns than it is to go get five takedowns. So it's just like to me, if you're really good on the mat in either styles, like we're stay on the international thing, is like if nobody can turn me and I can turn everybody, if I get on top just one time, that means now you're gonna have to take me down at least twice to beat me, and that's not gonna happen. And so it's like you just look at right, and the other thing, right, the other counter argument is like obviously you got to be somewhat decent on your feet. Like you can't just be a fish on your feet and fall over and get taken down and then hopefully get your chance on top. Like that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying like when you got the very best guys out there competing against each other, they're usually within a takedown of each other on their feet. Maybe one guy gets one more takedown than the other, but a lot of times where you got two really good guys and one gets four takedowns and the other gets one. Yeah, it's usually within a takedown of each other in the biggest matches, and it's who can escape and who can ride the other guy, or in freestyle, who gets the turn on top and who doesn't get turned. And so that was kind of my thought process, and just something I've observed after watching. I love watching wrestling, and that's just a big thing that stands out to me.
You said you love watching wrestling. Like, I don't know, this wrestling season, are you watching a lot of college wrestling? Are you watching a lot of freestyle? Are you watching current wrestling? Are you going back? Are you watching your opponents? Are you watching for entertainment? Are you watching to learn? It's just like 9 questions. You can answer any one of those if you
Yeah,
want.
yeah, I'm all over. I like it. It depends the week, and I'll get into some. I'll be on YouTube watching these old matches and get into that stuff. But recently, I'd say just because Big Ten season's been so fun
Uh-huh.
to watch. I've watched a ton of the Big Ten duels recently, and it's fun. It's fun to see. Just I don't know. There's something about those duels that get exciting. Like I think the Ohio State Penn State, like there was just some really fun matches in that one that I enjoyed watching. And like an example I talked about when I did talk about the mat wrestling was like you look at Levi Haynes and Karchla. It's like Karchla probably was the better wrestler on the feet in that match, and I'm not saying it'll be the same in the future, but in that match he was probably a little bit better. But right, Levi got to one kind of counter shot, and what happened? He landed in a Turk. He rode him out, and he didn't let him go. Versus when Karchla, every time he got his takedown, Levi was up and out quick, and that was the difference maker in the match. And so that was kind of might have been what got my brain spinning on that topic even a little more. Is like you see one guy, it's always within a takedown against those top guys for the most part, and so it's who gets tough and gets the ride out or gets away when they have 10 left in a period. And so yeah, but back to it. Yeah, I like to watch all stuff, and then I go back and watch my old matches quite a bit, and just look on different areas and see where can I be better and fix up and continue to improve.
I'm going to echo that. I love Friday nights watching BTN, especially when they're back-to-back duels. It's just like, yes, give me 4 hours of college wrestling. I'm in heaven. So that's great.
Yeah.
Looking ahead, right? Obviously, February 26th, you're going to be wrestling Austin DeSanto, FloWrestling Night in America in Iowa, freestyle wrestling. Just when you think of Austin DeSanto, how do you prepare? What do you got to be ready for? What does Austin do well?
Obviously, anybody that has seen him wrestle knows that this dude's got just an insane pressure. He's in your face. He doesn't stop. He's got a motor, and so that's what he does well, right? He overwhelms you, and for me, watching my past matches with him, it's like he just so in your face that you end up taking a bad shot, and that's where he capitalizes. And he's got a good fireman's, good dump, good lefty high crotch, things like that. But I'd say for me, when I've wrestled him, that's been my biggest thing is like he just has so much pressure that I do something stupid, and he's capitalized off of it. And so yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to get it right. We're 2-2 in our series right now, and he got the last win over me. So I'm excited to go get this one back and put it on him this time. And yeah, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. I've been he's a guy that if I ever got the opportunity to wrestle, it's just fun. It's just fun to go out there. And I would say I'm a goer too. So to get another guy who's in your face going, it just makes it exciting and something to look forward to. It's never going to be an easy match. You're going to get exhausted, and that's why I love wrestling.
Yeah. And you mentioned the matches you've had in the past. You guys wrestling freestyle. I want to pull up that match and we can watch that. That was the most recent time you guys wrestled. This was at the U.S. Open in 2023 semis, I believe. So, Nikki, if you want to pull this over and we can just watch this, and Seth, you can just kind of give us your thoughts on this, or what you're thinking or what you're seeing as you watch this. They'd be great. But here we go, Seth, obviously in the red, and DeSanto in the blue.
Yeah, all my coaches tell me the first thing is I probably got to lower my stance a little bit.
Yeah, and he's just like you said,
Yeah,
going
I
forward.
remember big thing in this match is right. He's all over me. He kind of always made first contact. I mean, I would change levels and do some good fakes, but he was always the one kind of punching his tie ups on me in this match.
Some nice
Yeah,
level changes.
when he gets his right there, when he gets that right hand in that armpit, that's where it's hard to clear out of. You got to be quick with clearing out of there because once he gets it, that's where it gets a little tricky.
So I've heard. You ever had a bruise on your arm from that? I've heard some guys saying they got bruises up in their armpit.
So after this one, I probably have a picture somewhere, but I was bloody all in my armpit, like scratched up, and oh
Oh,
yeah. I think after the first period, I like lift my arm up, and I'm like, what the heck?
little mat burn from his hand. I guess that's, I don't know what you call that, skin burn.
Yeah,
Some grounded action.
need to stand him up a little right there.
What do you think about the grounded rules? Like them, hate them, indifferent?
I would say indifferent because I've benefited from them at many times, and I've also right things like that where I didn't benefit, but I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't mind it just being if you're the first guy to go out, it's a point regardless. Like I think that's an easy way to fix it is like grounded or not. If you go out and you guys are in the neutral position, somebody gets a point.
Yeah. Not a big fan of it, but I kind of understand where it
Yeah,
comes
just
from.
so yeah, I get the concept of it, but yeah, it's like it's so like right now, right? I just dropped to my knees because I know, right, we're getting towards the edge.
Yeah.
Everybody games it, and
Trying to lift you up.
it's like if I know, even if I go out on my knees right now, it's gonna make me have to work to the middle a little more.
So there's a shot clock point, I guess, there for Austin to start this, to start the scoring
Yep.
off. Oh, oh,
Yeah, I shot to his back. I think I could have got to his legs there if I didn't shoot to the back leg.
who's going to be in your corner this time? Up here in Iowa.
Couple of my buddies,
Yeah?
couple of my buddies. There's a Malu. He'll come out warm me up. Actually I coached with him at a club in Wisconsin, and I've known him for a long time. And then I'm gonna have Joe Zargo. He wrestles for Wisconsin, but he's a good coach. I like having him. He yells at me and says the mean things that I don't want to hear sometimes. So
That's great. I feel like the coach in your corner is as much about making you feel the way you need to feel. If you need somebody to yell those things at you, if you need somebody to encourage you, whatever it is, as much as those technical details, because I don't know how much you do, you know.
Exactly. That's 100% it for me. Like, I don't hear too much. I just need a kick in the butt sometimes, or like, "Dude, pick it up. What are you doing?" Or, I don't necessarily always need every once in a while there's small cues, or keep this free, or look for this opportunity, but a lot of times, yeah, it's just somebody to keep your head in the game and tell you to pick it up.
Pick it up.
Yeah.
So down 1-0 at the break. Is there uh,
Oh, that was a bad one.
still nothing? Oh, it
That
came
was
around
a
the
bad
other way.
shot. Yeah, that was a bad shot. Yeah, he was circling, and I don't know what I was trying to do. Nosedive to my head there a little bit.
Fought it off for a second.
Yeah.
All right, it's 3-0 with it early in the second.
Yeah, actually, in this match, I definitely got more comfortable as it went on, and was felt a little better taking risks and stuff. And I think he got a little more tired, and he shut down quite a bit towards the end of the match.
This is your only meeting in freestyle. You know, is there much difference,
Yo,
specifically in Austin and your meetings? Right? Is there much of a difference between folk style and freestyle?
he, I would say, I don't know. I guess like folk style wise, I was more like chasing him down, going after things because I knew, right, starts the same thing, start scrambles in folk style. I was good. Where now, right, I don't want to give up as many opportunities. Oh man, that was a bad that was a bad head pinch there too. But yeah, just like they've been somewhat similar, but like in folk style, I think he only took me down the very first match we wrestled, and off his own attack, and then after that, I don't think he took me down the next two. So they're just you can't scramble the same, and so I gotta be a little smarter where I'm putting myself.
Sure. So we're looking 5-0 with I guess about a minute to go. What, is it like time to sprint? Is it time to stay calm? Obviously, you need to score
Now it's
points,
time to
but
pick it up. I gotta get going now. I would say when it was 3-0, minute and a half, don't be stupid. Try to find a good one. But yeah, 5-0, a minute left against the top guy. You better start finding ways to score quick.
one step out.
And yeah, I kind of felt him shift to big time defensive mode here in this last minute, so I was able to kind of attack a little more.
So we're within one score, but we're pretty short time, right?
36.
Oh, there's
Which
30 left.
now
Oh my
now it's
god.
back to let's make sure we take one really good attack, not get caught under him. Standing too high. Need to threaten him a little more, be lower. Want to say they gave me one. Yeah, I think they gave me one here. But I think I still need a takedown regardless because he's got two twos.
Yep. Now it's exciting. We're
Yo,
right back in this
yo.
thing.
I was close. If I went to set to my butt, I think I could have just pushed him out there. I think I could have kept the front head and just pressured it in, but well, I guess I needed two.
So
So
5-4.
yeah, a little. I mean, I didn't do too much until the last minute as far as getting to my stuff, but yeah,
How do you rate your
he handled
performance there?
most. Yeah, like a C minus.
Yeah,
Not very good,
sure. Um,
but that's the fun thing, right? I lost by a point, and I don't think I did nearly what I'm capable of, and so you know where I'm at now. That's a good thing. There's a lot to improve on, and I still almost could have. I was in position to still win the match with not wrestling so hot. So
Sure. Describe like there's wrestling in away matches, and Carver Hawkeyes maybe a little bit different experience, right? It's bigger than most places and usually pretty full. What's it like wrestling at Carver, and what are you anticipating? This isn't as big as Carver, but it'll probably be a pretty full, pretty pro DeSanto crowd. Do you like that? Dislike it? Ignore it?
oh, I love it. I love it. That's why that's one of my favorite things in the sport. I mean, going into Carver in college, that was always one of the best experiences, and you just kind of embrace it because you don't get a lot of opportunities like that in life where you go in and everybody's rooting against you and screaming against you, and it just adds a fun aspect to it. Like, all right, I'm gonna go into their home arena and take what I need here and get the job done. And that was kind of like Final X. I went into Stillwater
Uh-huh.
and Dayton Fix his home arena, and same thing. I think besides my dad and maybe my uncle and one other guy, there's nobody cheering for me in there. So it was like even when I won, it was a lot of silence and two people screaming pretty loud, and so it is fun though. That's one of my favorite atmospheres to be in, and yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be like that in Coralville 100%. It's gonna be 95% of the crowd probably rooting him on, and get a few of my fans out there, hopefully make a little bit of noise for me. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. That's one of my favorite things. There's something fun about having your home crowd and competing in front of them, but um there's also just a different intensity when it's you're going to war against not only your opponent but the whole entire fan base too. So I'm excited for it.
Hell yeah. Uh, you mentioned, I think we mentioned earlier that the card, you got Lee and Ono, and you got a bunch of others. Are there any matches that excite you that are going to be taking place that night?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of them that are gonna be really good. Obviously, Lee and Ono, that's a match that I don't know any wrestler on the planet Earth wants to see. You got a guy who is arguably done one of the most dominant years ever in Ono, and then you got Spencer who is just an absolute monster as well. And so I don't know how you just don't get excited to, watch that match. So I'm excited. I get to get done and then, go relax and watch that one right from the stands there. And yeah, I mean, there's other ones too. I'm excited to see Carr against blanking
Takatani.
on his name now.
Takatani.
Takatani. I
Yeah.
think that's fun. I think that's a huge opportunity for David, and so I'm really excited to see him go out there and hopefully get that done. But yeah, there's just though I love the international matchups, and it's hard to beat that. And Japan's hot, and getting a few Japan guys in here for our top guys to get after is really fun.
Any takes you don't have to predict a winner, but like it maybe be like what Spencer needs to do to win or pass the victory for Ono.
Yeah, I think about this one. I go back and forth in my own head a lot, and if Ono does a really good job of keeping guys off of him and then get to his angles, moving his feet. I think if Spencer can find a way to get his hands on him, get to his ties, and get to the leg, I think he can get on top and he can score some points that way. But if he can't get to his tie ups and Ono does a great job of keeping him off, I think that's going to favor Ono. So I think the more they're in space, the more it favors Ono. The more they can get their hands on each other and wrestle in ties that is going to favor Spencer. And then both guys, right, monsters in the top position, so that's also a huge aspect of um, the matches. If one of them gets on top, the defensive guy better get moving and not give up any turns because that could end it real quick. But yeah, I can't give you a prediction now. I don't know. I changed my own mind, and yeah, even right now, I'm like, oh man. But that would be my thing. If Spencer gets his hands on him and gets to his tie ups, and is able to get to his stuff, I think he'll do just fine. But like I said, Ono's one of the best guys in the world at keeping guys off you, moving to his angles, and then striking and hitting his nice little snap and getting to his angles on that shot. So that's kind of my breakdown of it.
Hell yeah. Well, just I see the excitement in your face when you're thinking this
Yeah.
match through and ways it could go. That fires me up even more than I already was. Just a couple more things while I got you here. You know, I guess, where are you thinking you're at? Are you planning on wrestling to 2028 through, if you are, I assume until then you'd be at 61, but if 2028, when 2028 comes around, you're one of these middle guys that's just like, I'm caught in the middle, up or down, kind of where you at?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I wanna go until the wheels fall off,
I love
until I
it.
can't no more, and I'm feeling good about it, and I'm feeling honestly, health-wise, this is, 0 problems with my body right now, no injuries, no nagging things, and that doesn't happen often, so, right now I'm feeling great about it and wanna keep doing it, and I enjoy it, and it's something, fun, and I wake up excited to just get better at wrestling and chase down my goals each day, and so I'm gonna go as long as I can, and come Olympic time, definitely gonna go back up again. Um, I don't talk about it a lot, but I felt really good going into the 2024 Olympic trials, and the 48 hours before it started, I popped my bursa sac, and so that was pretty brutal. Actually, I flew down to Happy Valley and got my knee drained down there, and then actually like 5 minutes before I got it drained, I was actually gonna get it drained, and they were gonna put this steroid in to numb it, and then my trainer called and was like, you can't do that. You could test positive for
Oh,
something if you get
no.
the steroid in your knee. And so they had already drained it, and so they ended up just putting straight water back in it. And so then I went right after that, I went straight from there to go get my, like, last weight cutting workout. I hit my knee one time, but bigger than it had, like, originally, and so it was brutal, and it sucked 'cause I felt really, really good. I felt strong at the weight. I felt good where I was supposed to be, and, so it sucked to go out like that, but I've wrestled those top guys at 65, and I know I'm right there in the mix, and, that's just what happens. That's wrestling for you. Nobody's ever at 100%, and you gotta figure it out regardless, but that'll be the game plan. I felt great at 65, and, I will probably the year prior go up to 65 as well, which would be at 27. So that would
Yeah,
be kind of the game plan as of right now. I'll stay down for the next 2 years and then start heading back up, getting big and strong again.
sure. You answered my next question. I was gonna say 2027, maybe go up, but there you go. And just the last thing we got to know, I don't know, call it a game, call it whatever you want. It's called just all-time favorite. Do you have, or who is one single all-time favorite wrestler? Your all-time favorite wrestler, Seth Gross.
Who I'll just answer from when I was a kid. I was lived right by the U of M, and my dad would take me to duels, and so I was a huge fan of Dustin Schlater growing up just because he came on the scene and as a freshman just dominated everybody, won a national championship, and cool enough, I ended up getting to be coached by him a little bit at Apple Valley. He ran a lot of our freestyle stuff, and so growing up, it was 100%, Dustin Schlater. I was a huge fan, and him and his brother were fun to watch, but always loved to watch him. So
Yeah, Dustin's a monster, is a monster, was a monster, and I didn't learn till years later, only a couple few years ago, that he like suffered a ton of. I knew he had some injuries, but he had a bunch of head injuries and concussions, and it's a shame that a guy at that level who was that great, just body, physically and
oh,
head, everything, wouldn't cooperate. But yeah, he's phenomenal, phenomenal wrestler. Um, and that's kind of it, Seth. I know we're excited. We're super stoked to see you wrestle on February 26th down in Coralville, Iowa, live here on Flow against Austin DeSanto. But we're going to give you the final word to say anything you want to say about anything.
awesome. Yeah, yeah. No, first off, thank you for having me on. I'm
Sure.
excited. Thank you for doing this event. It's amazing for the sport, and I'm glad I just get to be a part of it and get down there and wrestle a competitor and a guy that's going to toe with the line like I am. And yeah, besides that, big shout out to my Map Pack family here. I know they're doing a big watch party. I think they got like 50, 60 people that'll be
Awesome.
doing it here in Bismarck. So I'm excited to have them all get to watch me compete. This will be my first time competing since being a part of MAPO. Just excited for them to see it and go out there and let it fly. So that'll be my only shout out for today. But yeah, thank you guys for having me and let me be a part of it.
Absolutely. And you always answer the call. You always ready to step up and take a challenge. So we appreciate that and look forward to seeing you in Austin, Lock Horns, on February 28th. Thanks, man.
Awesome. See you soon. Yep.
Yep. See you. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.